Hello again, welcome back to Asgard, and welcome back to FTB Interactions. So, since last episode, I've done a little bit of work around the base. Also, this chunk right here, zero flux. Zero flux at all, which is great. This has been kicking away. We have 203 Essentia in that jar now. I think these chunks, yeah, they've got like 11. It does to some degree. It drains over to nearby chunks, but only up to a certain point. So once this reaches a certain threshold, it'll funnel into this one because there's less flux in there, and basically it'll get cleaned up. Because these were at like 30, if you recall. But now they're down to 11.2, so it shouldn't be anything that we have to worry about. I will probably end up setting up additional flux cleanup systems in the nearby chunks, A, to speed it up, but then also B, to kind of, get all the flux gone. But if we take a look at our little flux map right here, you can see there's some very, very small ridges right there. That's those chunks that have a little bit of flux in them, but it's not enough to really do any damage. It's not going to matter. And then as long as we keep this thing running, we should be good. And I've got 2 Essentia filters left. These aren't the 2 that I had at the end of the last episode. These I had to make more. So, anyways, today we're going to be continuing on. I also did a little bit of building work up here, but it's nothing. It's not too major. It's not too major. We launched a new patron server over the weekend, and spent a little bit of time on there, and yeah, that's why this video is going to be coming out on Tuesday instead of a Monday, because yeah, we launched a new server, and I was pretty much on there for a couple days straight. Well, a day before the server launched, and then the day that the server launched, pretty much all day. So, anyways, with that said, let's go ahead and get into what we're going to be doing today. And one of the big things I want to do today is I want to get into stabilization with the runic matrix. However, to do that, we have to unlock stabilizers. It is a research, and if I recall, it's actually on this first page here, I think. I think that's where it ends up going. But in order to get that, we are going to have some negative effects happen while doing an infusion. And there's a couple ways that we could go about this. We could either set up another runic matrix elsewhere, or break this one and take it and set it up somewhere and just do something that we cannot do, we don't have enough Essentia for, and just let it go. Which, that's one possibility. Or we could just do some infusion that we're actually doing, get one that happens to go a little bit unstable, and then deal with it. Honestly, I think what I want to do is take our runic matrix that's here and let's look up a really easy infusion recipe that maybe takes just a couple things, basically just something that we can activate and let it fail, like earth crystals. Yeah, that would be great. Seed, Salus Mundus. We don't have to worry about the Essentia types because we're not going to give it any Essentia. And then we're going to need our Terra V crystal. Yeah, let's do that. I think this would be the easiest route, and I tend to like not having unstable infusions happening inside my base. So we're definitely going to go with that. And then I'm going to need one of these, and I'm going to need to make 3 Salus Mundus. And the normal recipe is 3 different V crystals. I might do that. Honestly, instead of going with the covalence dust, because realistically it's not that difficult at this point for us to get more V crystals. And I mean, I can always go mine some more as well. So I think we're going to use the standard recipe now for making our Salus Mundus. Just because I hate making covalence dust, honestly. Honestly, that's the reason. So let's grab 3 redstone. We are going to need some arcane stones as well. And I'm actually just going to take these because I'll have to reform all of this anyways, so that would be fine. And then I've got 3 arcane pedestals, that's plenty. And then we're going to need a knife. Let's go ahead and make some bowls. And then it's that. Oh, I need flint. Okay, so bowl, flint, redstone, and then we'll do our V crystals. And we can get our Salus Mundus. There we go. And we'll go ahead and go through. Oh, look, we have taint. Yeah. Okay. That's actually awesome because I did want some of this. Okay. Did that unlock anything new? No. Okay, well anyways, what we're going to do is we're going to make a new altar. So, just like normal, we're going to set this up. Let's do that. 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 And then that. And we're going to, I'm sorry, use Salus Mundus on that. And then we're going to set up our pedestals. We'll just do like that. We don't have to worry about keeping things organized at all. And then I forgot the seeds. Okay, so what we're going to do, we'll just put a seed there. We'll put a Salus Mundus there. And we'll put our Terra V crystal right there. And then we're going to activate this. You can see it says very stable, but it's negative 0.2 gain per cycle. Okay, now what's going to happen, it's going to slowly move to unstable, and then it gets very unstable. And you see it says I should study infusion more. That's what I want. And then we can actually just, I guess I didn't have to make that extra Salus Mundus. It's not going to hurt, because it didn't actually get to pull anything in because of the fact that it didn't have the Essentia, and the Essentia is the first requirement. So the items didn't get destroyed, but there's a chance they can get destroyed as they get unstable, but we didn't have that happen. And if we take a look, okay, it's right here. Infusion Stabilization. This is what we want to do. And we're going to need a redstone and a vial of Vidium Essentia, and then I'm going to have to get a theory on Arcane Infusion. Okay, so I think this will give us our point in Arcane Infusion. Yes, okay. Awesome. And I need to get that vial real quick. So let me grab that. I want to get into sanitizing soap as well pretty soon. Maybe not this episode, but pretty soon. So let's grab a vial of that, and we should be good. So there we go. And now we can craft the Redstone Inlays and the Stabilizers. Okay, so first and foremost, let's go ahead and rebuild our altar, get this stuff out of our inventory. And these are going to be a little bit of a process to craft, but that's okay. Oh yeah, I gotta grab my Runic Matrix. I had this placed down because the Runic Matrix is what you use if you want to get basically more infusion notes, because that's kind of the booster for your research. But chances are that's probably going to be maybe some of the last research that we do before we get to the creative Thaumonomicon. Just because. Try to do as little research, kind of do as little research. I mean, I did some research that we didn't necessarily need, but I'm not going to go too crazy with research. So, go ahead and place that, and then we'll go ahead and activate that. Now it says I've only got a 0.1 gain per cycle. Okay, there we go. 0.4 gain. Now if we look up the Redstone Inlay, this takes an Aqua V crystal. Gold and redstone, but I'm going to need quite a few of these, so I should probably make a bit of them. The stabilizers, these are going to take Terra, Aqua, and Pt.2. We're also going to need a block of redstone, a V resonator, and we're going to need multiples of these. I'm actually going to be using, I think, 4 of them. Technically, and we'll go over exactly how they work and what they do. here in just a minute once we get them made. But technically I could put my stabilizers in here. Do something a little bit different, I guess. But I think I'm going to go with 4 of these, so it's going to be a little bit expensive to craft this. And we're going to need complex arcane mechanisms, which are pistons, thaumium plates, simple arcane mechanisms, which are iron and brass. And we're going to need 2 for 1 on these. And I think I'm going to start with 4. So I need to start with 8 of these simple arcane mechanisms. And I'm going to need the Ignis and Aqua V crystals. Thaumium, okay. Alright, I'll be back here in just a bit. Okay, I was actually starting with the crystals because I realized, and I had some of these inside of my chest up here. This is the last of them, I think, from whenever we did all those dungeons. But if we take a look at the stabilizers themselves don't take any Ignis, but the complex arcane mechanisms take Ignis. And then the simple arcane mechanisms take Ignis. And so I'm going to need 12 Ignis V crystals and 12 Aqua V crystals. So basically I don't have enough. And Ignis infused ore is the only one that I have not found. And I know I have a Star of Bethlehem somewhere, but I lost a lot of my markings a bit back, and I think you can find Ignis infused in the Nether, but there's also this flower that we haven't found yet that we could get Ignis infused ore, but this is hot and dry biomes, and I need to go out on a journey to find those, which I will do at some point just so we can complete the quest. But there is an easier way that we can handle this, which is what I'm going to go with. And so what we're going to do is, let me actually pop over here and dump off all of these V crystals real quick. And I'll show you how we're going to make our Ignis V. Because now that we've started Thaumcraft, it's actually not... V crystals are about the least of our concerns, I think, at this point. And so what we're going to do is, over here, I'm sure I have... Certus quartz ore. Let's go ahead and grab like 10 of them. And of course we could process this, use the sifter and all that. We are going to get into that soon, I promise. Actually, probably in the next episode, because we're going to move back to tech in the next episode for a little while, and start working towards some new machines and also moving into space. I think that's our next objective that I'd like to work on. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and just smelt these up, and we're going to get ourselves some flawed Certus quartz, and then forge hammer to make the chipped. Okay, so let me get this, and then I'm going to take this, and let me actually set this for just a second. Let me say never active on the extraction. And what we're going to do is just dump this into there and get that crushing up. We're going to get our chipped Certus quartz. So there's 20 of that. And then let's go ahead and set this back to always active. And then what I need to do is I need to get our resonating wand. And then we're going to take our chipped Certus quartz, dump it into there, hit this with the resonating wand. I'm thinking it should craft quite a few of these at a time. I doubt they're expensive. 4 at a time. It's not terrible. And there we go. Okay, so we're going to take these, and Quartz Slivers, these are used, you can throw them in the Crucible if you're still using the Crucible. And actually I think I've got some more of these lying around somewhere, maybe from Quest that we never ended up using. I can't remember. But you can throw these in a Crucible, and what they do is they will absorb any extra Essentia that's in the Crucible, and it's going to turn it into a V crystal. But you can also do this through the Thaumatorium. And if you're doing research the really powerful, fast way using items, these things are really important because you're going to want to make different types of V crystals, because they come up all the time in research. And so inevitably you're going to need a bunch. if you're using items. But what we're going to do is, let's actually remove our thaumium. We're going to put this in here. I need to make a mnemonic matrix this episode. But we're going to select Ignis V crystals. And then I'm going to have to smelt something that has Ignis. And there should be some fairly easy methods for this. Frozen cobblestone has Ignis. Interesting. Torches are a really easy one, and you get a little bit of lux, which actually I should probably just maybe do that. But let me look around and see. I think torches, I tend to use them a lot. Netherrack has some Ignis. Coal. Yeah, I tell you what, let's actually go with charcoal, because I know I'm going to need potentia before too long. And that's what it gives, is it gives potentia, and it gives and it gives Ignis. So let me just grab like 10. And I don't think I have a jar for Ignis, so I'm going to need to make some new warded jars. So let me do that. It was glass panes and slabs. I'm going to go ahead and just make a couple batches of this, because I've got this glass available. We're actually going to be automating glass here pretty soon, probably. I don't know if I want to wait until we hit AE2, or if I want to do it with Super Factory Manager. One or the other. We'll be doing that here soon enough, but... Alright, let's pop down here. Let's toss in... That's where I was crafting the... I ran out of silver wood. I've got more silver wood, I gotta turn it into planks, basically. Let's go ahead and get ourselves our water jars, and... Oh, I've actually got some glass here, too. I didn't realize. Okay, so there's 11 water jars. That should be good for right now. And let me go ahead and grab these labels. And I think, yeah, Potential's already got a spot. So let's go ahead and we're just going to dump in our charcoal, get that smelting up. Potential's going to get sent out. And then here in a second, it should get some Ignis. You can see it's emitting steam. That means it's not creating flux. Every once in a while, you'll see some flux go up, though. If we take a look here, we have 4 at the moment. So right now, it's focusing on that potentia. But it is done smelting, and we managed 4 was it, and it's already cleaned up one of the flux from that. And we just generated, what, 100 Essentia? Do I have a place for Ignis? I do have a place. Okay, never mind. Never mind. I didn't have to do all of that, I guess. Okay, so our Ignis is generating, but you can see it's sending it over here now. And basically it's sending it to our Thaumatorium. And this is taking that Ignis to Ignis. And one of those Quartz Slivers gets us an Ignis V crystal. Then, of course, we get 2 crystals per quartz ore, just the way that we're processing it. Now, later on, we can actually, technically now, I guess, it's only 5 millibuckets of liquid starlight, but we can use liquid starlight to process those chip Certus quartz, or quartzite, or nether quartz. And we get 3 per chipped. So we would get 6 per ore, if we were just straight smelting it, in that case. Which we could have done that, but this is just faster, I guess. I don't know. Maybe I should have done that, but I don't know. I've got 20 Ignis V crystals. I'm not worried about it. Yeah, if you have an autoclave and liquid starlight, you should go with that route. But anyways, now we've got plenty of Ignis V, so we don't have to worry about going out and farming that, because, yeah, we're good on it. Alright, so now I just need to get the 16 brass plates, 16 iron plates, and stick real quick. And I should... For right now, I should switch this back over to here, since I'm working in that area a little bit right this second. So, kind of just alternate that as needed. And of course, the iron plates and the sticks are easy enough. The brass plates, I've got some brass on me right here, but I'm going to need to make at least 7 more. So, once again, copper and zinc. to do that the easy way. And then you run this, whoops, you run this through the alloy smelter and get that cooked up. There we go, and I should probably get this, making the plates. Brass plates actually craft pretty quick, I must say. Let's see, the next step, so I'm going to need 8 thaumium plates, 4 pistons for the next part. Which I'm going to have to make a little bit more thaumium, but that's fine. I'm going to go ahead and release that recipe. Okay, I've got that thaumium crafting up. Actually, there's the 8 that I need. I got a little bit extra crafting, but I need to start just mass producing that stuff, because I'm going to need a bunch of it as time goes on, I'm sure. But we've got everything for the first part. So there's 8 of those. That's not really the worst part, but I mean, there's just a lot of them that we've got to make. I guess I grabbed, maybe I grabbed 18 iron plates. Didn't realize it. Okay, and then I just need the pistons. Oh, and I need the thaumium plates. Real quick. Get that running. And then finally for the stabilizers, we're going to need arcane stone slabs, arcane stone, redstone inlays, and then a block of redstone for each one. So redstone inlays, let's go ahead and get ourselves, we'll go ahead and get 25 redstone, and then I'm going to get 16 gold. Or actually I need 52 redstone, because I'm going to have to make, I'm making 4 of these, so. And let's see, we'll drop the redstone into the compressor, let that start making our redstone blocks for us. Our thaumium plates should be done, they are. And so while that's running, let's go ahead and pop down here. I'm also going to have to get 4 resonators as well. And some arcane stone blocks together. I'll get that stuff together, you know, real quick off camera. But anyways, there's our 4 complex arcane mechanisms. And then the redstone inlays, let's go ahead. This is going to give us a half stack. Well, I'm out of... It's aqua. Yeah, it's aqua V crystals. Okay, do I have a lot of aqua V available? Because if so, I might just make up some more V crystals. Or some more quartz slivers. I mean, I could. It wouldn't be hard to get aqua V. But I'll tell you what, I'm going to go ahead and use up... That's why I haven't really stressed about the infused ore. I mean, V crystals are actually really easy to get a lot of. Especially if I do it the 3 times way. But basically, I want to keep 1 aqua infused ore. I want to make sure I have at least one of those available. And I think we will be using this a little bit later. I'm not sure if... Because I know we've got this stuff coming up, and the aqua infused ore, we're going to use it to make aqua infused. But do we actually use this for anything? Or does maybe it just makes aqua V crystals? So maybe we aren't going to need that. But I'm going to keep at least one of those, because we're actually going to set up a little farm so that we just kind of have this stuff growing passively. Maybe not so much for... It's not really going to be fast enough for our needs in terms of Thaumcraft. But we might actually set some of this stuff up for just kind of let it grow. Maybe for looks, maybe some for just if I need like 1 or 2 and I'm missing it, I can grab that, but we'll see. And actually, let's go with the Nether Quartz ore. I'm going to get some of this stuff smelting up. I've actually got some over here too. I don't know how much. But going with Nether Quartz would actually probably be a better bet. Oh, I don't have any. Actually, I don't even think I've plugged up the conduits. No, I haven't plugged up the conduits here. But I don't know why I want to start this quartz. Anyways, I'm losing my mind. It's been a long day. It actually has. But then what we can do is we can take and drop this stuff into the forge hammer. And I should actually set this to never active, because it's going to drop them into here. And this is actually going to make 2 per nether quartz. It's going to make 2 flawed nether quartz. And then what I can do, there's going to be a full stack of chipped nether quartz. And bear in mind that each one of these is going to make 3. If we run it through the autoclave, it's going to make 3 slivers. So, I mean, you're talking about 12 V crystals per nether quartz. And 24 V crystals per nether quartz ore. And we're not even, like, going for, like, max production on this. We're pretty much just, boom, here you go. And so this right here, then what we'll do is drop this into our autoclave. Oh, and this is done. I've got some more liquid starlight if I need it. But that right there is going to make 3 stacks of quartz slivers once it's done. It's really, really powerful. It really, really is. So once you hit to the point where you can just like start smelting Essentia without having to worry about flux, at that point you no longer have to worry about V crystals either. I mean, yeah, if you're mining and you just happen to mine up a whole bunch of them, then that's great. You've got them. But honestly, in truth, this is kind of a really easy method. That's why I didn't really worry about efficiency when I was dealing with any of this stuff, because efficiency on those really doesn't matter. Because the ores is so short-lived that you really have to use them. So if you just mine up a little bit to start with, you should be in good shape. Okay, I'm going to need something with aqua. I'm probably going to go with wet sponges. In truth, whoops. There's also slimy grass, which I think will be cheaper than quite a bit cheaper than wet sponges. And it's got some little bit of herba, but it's also got Victus, got some Terra, got some Alchemia. So let me go ahead, and it's 15 aqua on those too. So let me go ahead and grab, like 8. That's really, really cheap for the EMC. There is a lot of different Essentia types in these, so it's probably going to make a little bit of flux. But of course, this chunk don't matter. It don't matter a bit, so I'm not sure how much of this it's going to fill up per little bit. And it's actually building up the Pt.2. Let me go ahead and grab that. And we'll drop this down right there. And then next up we have aqua. Drop that down right there. Then here in a second it should recognize that new jar. There we go. Beautiful. Okay, now what I want to do, let me grab these. So let me turn off our thaumium ingot and let me go ahead and set it to aqua V. This is an alphabetical order, by the way, so if you're trying to find something, that's how you look it up. And then we're getting Victus. Beautiful. Which actually we might want some more herba essentia here in just a second. So, yeah, because we're building up a little bit here. Let me grab this. Let me pop on through. Go. It's being all buggy. And let me get, this is pretty much what I did between episodes. I'm just going to grab a stack of leaves. Because of course my herba essentia, it feeds pretty much right now, it just feeds straight into this jar. So that's still draining out on Victus. We've got 90 aqua. Got a little bit of alchemia. Of course, a little bit of herba came into here. I'm just going to throw in these leaves. Let these start smelting up. And we're up to 10 flux there. Over here, it's still 11.2. I think it has to break that 11.2 threshold over here before it even starts sending essentia over to the, or flux to the other ones. We managed to hit 13, it looks like. Yeah, I didn't realize that was out, but now it's backing up. Okay, well anyways, we should have our aqua. There we go. Easy as pie. And then I'm just going to put these extra quartz slivers, which I've got some more up there that are going to be waiting for me, but I'm going to put those into there. And there we go. So there's our half stack of redstone inlay. And then now all we need for the stabilizer is just the arcane stone, which of course is like a freebie. And then we need the V resonators, which are silver plates and that flawed quartzite. So I'll be back once I get that stuff together, and we'll finish this out and get our stabilizers up and going. Okay, I think I've got everything together that we're going to need. So, first up are V resonators. There's 4 of those. And then our stabilizers. There we go. There we go. And I'm kind of letting this regenerate a little bit so I don't drain it all out. So there's our 4 stabilizers. Alright, so let's pop back up here. Okay, so our stabilizer, I think I'm going to put this setting right here, I do believe. And you will notice this is going to start pumping out some flux. It should stop after a minute. It only generates like a few flux is all it does. It's not much. It's actually draining off because it's going over to that chunk probably. Yeah, it stopped. So, but I think it only generates about 3 or 4 or something like that. So let's go ahead and put down all of these. And basically what they're doing is they're charging up because they will absorb, it's kind of like absorb some power, and they generate flux in the process to charge up, more or less. And then whenever they're fully charged up, they kind of turn red like that one's fully charged. And then what we need to do, I guess I'll explain the mechanics for this. So basically the way stabilizers work is whenever something happens that is kind of like an unstable event, like if I think it only relates to the pedestals, I don't think it relates to anything else that can happen, like the lightning sparks that can come off whenever stuff's unstable. I don't think that it affects that, but don't quote me on it. But oftentimes whenever you reach an unstable infusion, things are going to get knocked off the arcane pedestals, or they'll get destroyed. And what happens is, with the stabilizers, is if you have these in place and you have them connected, which we'll talk about connecting them up, but if you have stabilizers connected up to an arcane pedestal, then if like a negative impact or a negative effect would affect that arcane pedestal that's connected to, say, this one's connected to, say, this stabilizer, then instead of it doing that effect to that arcane pedestal, it does it to the stabilizer instead. And what that does is it causes the stabilizer to have to recharge, and we saw it charge up, and it takes about that long for it to recharge. And so it's going to generate a little bit of flux. But, I mean, you saw how fast that flux got taken care of. It got sent over here, and you can see it's cleaning that up. Which once I add, my plan is to add maybe 4 more of these, or 3 more of these around this room. And so flux is going to be such a minute point at that time. Especially once we get auto placers that will place the new, because I don't think, like if I had an essential filter and I right click this, yeah, it's not going to do anything unless it actually needs it. So we'll have some auto placers that basically fix these whenever they need fixing. Once we get into a bit more automation type stuff with Thaumcraft. So it generates a little bit of flux, but it keeps our pedestals from being messed with or our items being destroyed. It's really important whenever we start getting into especially the more rare materials that take a lot of work to make. We don't want those to get destroyed or have to make duplicates. So this is going to help protect our system. Now ideally, long term, what I'm going to do is I'm actually probably going to have 2 stabilizers, maybe set one here, set one there, and then have 2 per section, per 3 pedestals that are here. But for right now, I think 1 is fine. Long term, 2, partially for looks. I mean, the goal is actually to get this stable enough that we don't ever reach the point where we have unstable effects. But the stabilizers are there as kind of a safeguard. Now, like I said, these do have to be connected up. And the way you connect them is you can either have them butted up against the arcane pedestal, and that means it would affect that arcane pedestal, or you can use Redstone Inlay. And this is a lot like Redstone. And what we can do is we can say, do that, and you can see it's shining, and you're going to see some little runes coming up around these arcane pedestals. That means that they're currently connected to at least 1 stabilizer. So this stuff is all glowing. Now, if I was to run this redstone relay out, because this kind of has the same, it's kind of affected the same way as normal redstone is. So if I run this out, eventually, yeah, say this one not being affected. If I connect this one up, it's being affected. So you can see it does kind of have the same like distance limit as normal redstone does. So you can't just run this stuff indefinitely and just connect all of your pedestals up to the same, the same little redstone line. Also, these stabilizers only have like an 8, I think it's an 8, well, I don't know why I did that. It's only like an 8 block range. We can't set these too far away from our, let's see, where's that? I'm going to be doing lighting here soon, so just a heads up. I'm actually going to talk about the lighting that I'm going to use here in just a second, in fact. But anyways, I'm going to connect these up like this. And then what I might do, these do produce stabilization. They can. It's not much. The Redstone Inlay does. It's not enough for us to get... Well, actually, you know what, though? Let me grab this and update it. Yeah. Okay, so we're at a 0.92 gain per cycle, which is actually very, very good. Because I think at maximum instability, it's only like a 2 loss per cycle. So right now, if we made it just a little bit, just a bit more stable, to where we were getting like a 1 or 2 on gain, then especially if you can get it up to a 2 gain, then no matter what, you cannot reach an unstable state. Because basically the way it works is you have a stability, and the way I understand it is just like a number. And so you have like an instability rating based on the difficulty of your infusion. So if it's, say, very unstable, then maybe it has so much loss per cycle. I don't know the exact numbers, but let's say it's a 1 loss per cycle. Then basically every cycle you're going to lose 1 to your stability. It's hard to explain in this version of Thaumcraft. But basically, as it does a cycle, it loses so much stability, and the lower that your stability gets, like right now it says it's very stable, but as it runs that, it's going to get, that loss is going to go in towards that number. And I don't exactly know the values of each rank of stability, but after it lost enough from losing that stability per cycle, then it would drop to stable, and then moderate, and then unstable, and very unstable, and then dangerous, I think is the top tier, but or the bottom tier. But basically, I hope that makes sense. It's kind of hard to explain, but I hope that makes sense. But so we're looking at a 0.92 gain per cycle. Kind of what I'm thinking is we might actually have this redstone inlay wrap around these to some degree, just for looks, because they kind of look kind of cool. They kind of have like runes around them and all that. So maybe do something like that. Then if we check this, we're up to a 0.93 gain, and then I could, I've got 4. Could do something like this, have that kind of come in. But right now, I mean, it's a pretty good stability. And actually, if I recall, the stabilizers, as long as they're balanced, they'll add a bit of stability as well. So if I bump this up to, say, 2 stabilizers per section, this might actually get bumped up quite a bit. Now, we can add additional skulls down there. We can also add candles, stuff like that. And it will boost stability. If I recall, to some degree, there's diminishing returns on the stuff, so we're going to mix it up and have like a mix of candles and skulls. Right now, with our gain per cycle, it's actually pretty good. But I want to take a minute to talk about the lighting that we're going to use in these areas. And actually, what we're going to be using is the Sconces, I think, from Rustic Thaumaturgy. And these, we can take brass ingots, and then we can take any kind of V crystal, and we can make 3 of a given sconce. So real quick, let's pop down here. And I believe these add to stability. I think they're added for rustic thaumaturgy, to where the infusion altar will see them as actual Thaumcraft paraphernalia, so that you will get the boost from that. What I would like to make is... Actually, I've got Quartz Slivers. I was thinking about making... I've got these. I'm going to go ahead and try this out. Hopefully this works. Oh no, I think the only ones that work are the... That's kind of a bummer. I don't really want air ones, though. It doesn't really match. I mean, I guess if worse comes to worse, I could just cheat these in at the same value, since they're not... since they don't seem to be craftable. Yeah, I don't think that they're craftable for some reason. So I think what I'm going to do is... I'm going to just cheat them in. And these were 3 to 1 craft. So I'm going to do... For right now, I'm going to do 2 crafts. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to throw these away. And I'm going to take 6 of those. Because I don't know if it's the mod pack that messed up the recipe, or if it has something to do with the rustic thaumaturgy messing up the recipe. But basically, these sconces, we can place these, and they have kind of the crystal, the vidium crystal in this case, coming off of there. And you can also place them on the ground. So I want those. And then also, if we pull back up rustic thaumaturgy, there's also the brass chandeliers, and I would like to make one of these as well. And what we can do is we can do that. That only works with alchemical brass. That one works with both. That one... Huh, okay. I think that's actually probably an issue on the mod dev side of things. Yeah, because it's... Basically, this recipe is not ore dictionaried. Okay, so I'm going to have to get... Okay, so let me pop up here. And I'm going to get some alchemical brass made up real quick. I'm just going to use stone shovels, of course. Lots of instrumentum and a bit of terra from that, which is great. And then we'll go ahead and set up an instrumentum jar and a label. And let's go ahead and set our copper ingots, alchemical brass, and this will start pulling from that. That should be close enough, I think. Yeah, there it goes. I was about to say, I know it can pull the terra, so there we go. And actually, let's take a look. Well, I'll go ahead and finish this up because we almost got this done, and I've already got that pulled up. Let's pop back over here. Then I think there's one other thing, maybe, if it's not too expensive. I don't know. There might be a couple things. I'm going to look at a couple things here in just a second. But anyways, there's some brass chains. I actually think I have some of these because we made them for over in the farming area too. But actually, I think I might have used them all because I did 4 lights hanging down, and there was, I think, 3 chains per. So maybe I used them all. But anyways, there is our brass chandelier ring. And then this chandelier, I think, I can't remember if it takes the crystal or the sconce. I think it takes the sconce. What? Yeah, I think it takes the sconce. So let's pop up here. And kind of what I'm thinking is for lighting, which once we get into the peace candles, which we're going to be making some of those pretty soon. Once we do the peace candles, I'm going to remove all these torches on the ground. And I'm not going to have everything fully lit. I kind of want I want it to feel kind of dark down here. Right now it's really, really bright. It's not really what I'm going for. So we're going to have some lighting here. But it's not going to be fully lit up like the middle of the day down here. It's going to be kind of dark and dingy. But we're going to run our brass chains down. And I'm thinking, do I want to go right to there maybe? Let's see. And if we had the chandelier setting there, I think so. I think that's what I want to do. We can place our Vidium crystal brass sconces. We can place these on that. So we kind of have like this like chandelier that's hanging down. And then our sconces, I can also put some like... Did that... Oh, wow. Wow. That made a big difference, actually. That was nearly a 0.2 gain per cycle just adding that. But see, these brass sconces will actually boost the stability. And then what I could do is I could set up another... I'm not sure, because I think I would have to put one there and then one over there. But if I, for example, if I put like a sconce there... Yeah, see, that that lost 0.1. But then if I put one over here, yeah, that's a loss. I'm going to have to flip it on totally opposite axis. So what I might do... Ooh, how do I want to do this, though? There's not like a candle... Oh, wait, though. I think if I do... Oh, does that not work? I was thinking if I place them... No, I'm thinking of a different mod. I really wish this pack had Cathedral in it. Because there's some really cool stuff we could do with Cathedral. For some of this. See, that's all based around the middle. I do love that gain, though. So, for example, if I did... sconce here and a sconce here. Okay, yeah, you can see the diminishing returns are starting to kick in. So I only got 0.05 gain for that. I mean, I guess I won't be able to use these sconces maybe everywhere. Unless I made sure that they were balanced on the opposite side. But I can also put them like up here. I was thinking about having some lighting. And so, for example, that should be far enough away that it's not affected. Yeah. That 0.05 is from the boost. So, because I didn't update it again. But that's actually not a bad gain per cycle, though, I have to say. And I want to say that, well, of course, technically they're not really craftable. But I want to say that if we did, because I am going to want to mix some of these up and have some different types of sconces. But let's grab some air crystal brass sconces. Because I'm going to want some different types so it's not all the same color. And I want to actually test something. I think, of course, the sconces, they're not technically, the ones we use aren't technically craftable. Like I said, I don't know if it's a bug or, you know, what the cost of that is. But if we take a look here, it's 1.11, and we did two of the Vidium ones and placed those out, and it was 0.05. But if we use, say, the air crystal brass sconces, yeah, see, that's 0.1 gain. So if you use different types of sconces, you're going to get, basically you don't get the diminished returns. And I think it's the same for the skulls, which actually what I should probably do... to maybe help boost the stability a little bit is kind of mix up the heads that we have down there. Because right now I think it's all... Let me see. Yeah, this is all skeleton heads. So maybe... I think I've got some zombie heads. Let me pop up here. Yeah, I'm going to grab 12 zombie heads, 2 wither skeleton heads. And we'll toss these down there. And see what the stability difference is then, if we kind of mix it up with some of the different types of heads, instead of having so many skeleton heads. So, right now it would be 1.11. Alright, I added 10 zombie heads and 2 wither skeleton heads, and it's still the same number of heads, but if we take a look here, it's still the same, so maybe it actually does not matter then. Maybe heads all count as the same thing. Let's see. The tallow candles is just string with tallow. Let me go make some of those real quick. So there's some white tallow candles. And what I'm going to do is, and actually the skulls that are around the infusion altar, like they're on the ground, I do want to get those removed because I actually don't want them there. But what we're going to do is if we pop down here and we toss down like an air crystal brass sconce there and one there, and just kind of mirror them, and then we do, oh, you can't put candles on walls, that's right. So what I might do then instead is pull up these zombie heads. We'll put the candle there, the candle there. Okay, so now if I pop up here, let's take a look at what, but right up here, if we take a look now, it was 1.11, now it's 1.31. Which is pretty good. So basically that's what I have to do is I need to keep adding things. I think I want to say that each color of candle is different maybe. Maybe not. Maybe it's not, but part of me seems to recall it being different, but I'm not sure. But we can keep tweaking that up and making the stability a little bit better. If I remove these skulls, I want to see what the stability difference is. Because I actually don't want these two skulls here. None. Okay, so basically that means if I pop down here and I was to pull up like this, because I know there's a limit, and we've actually, I think, reached the point with skulls to where we have so much diminished returns that it's just not even really giving us much of anything. It's still probably giving us a very minute amount, but it's so minute that it takes so many to actually have any effect. May not be getting anything, I'm not for sure. But finally reached the point where I'm noticing a drop. And I'm going to get some more air-infused crystals real quick so we can make some more sconces. And, which I'm just going with those because I can craft them. I'm mainly going to reserve the other ones for decor purposes, I think. But let's go ahead and get some of these. I have to say I like the new balances to infusion. I played around with these a little bit in test worlds, and then I've messed around with them in my in the pack that I'm working on. But my first time in survival using this stabilization system, because you know they changed it like not too long after we had been doing it in Enigmatica, and then we didn't ever really use it in Enigmatica like infusion anymore after they had made the changes to it. So we never really got to play around in survival with the new infusion changes. And I have to say I like them so much more. That RF system was kind of goofy, using redstone flux to stabilize your infusions. So, but let's go ahead and make, I'm going to do like 3 to start with, 3 crafts, so we've got 10 and 13. That should be good. Okay, so let's head back up here, and we'll see what we can, I'm thinking we can at least get it up to like a 1.5 pretty easily. And chances are if I added the second stabilizers on this, we could probably hit a 2 without too much issue. Not to mention if something does happen to go unstable, we have those stabilizers that are boosting it as well. You know, even further. So I'm just going to put our tallow candles around like that, and then I'll do there maybe. Might actually trade out some of those for sconces. But let's see, now we are up to a 1.61. Not bad. And then what I could do is I could take and put here, 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 here. And now we're up to a 1.7 gain per cycle. That's a pretty stable altar. Now you can still mess it up if you put stuff that's like, if I was to set like this here, okay, that's a 0.1 loss. Just that one crystal sconce set in there. So just bear that in mind. You don't want to put things that are uneven. Also, whenever you're laying your infusions out, make sure that they're even and not uneven, basically. Now I can also drop this like that, and then we could attach, say, crystal sconces around like so. And we're up to a 1.76 gain per cycle. So, I mean, at this point, it's going to have to be pretty unstable for it to lose stability. Because I don't remember the loss per cycle on a dangerous infusion. But I don't even think it surpasses this. I'm not 100% sure, but I mean, this is very, very stable. And then, like I said, I think if we added the second stabilizers to all of this and finish the decorative redstone inlay work and everything, I think we are going to probably be around a 2 gain per cycle, which is pretty powerful. Okay, now the last thing I want to do this episode is I want to make our very first peace candle. Does this have to have a black tallow candle? I mean, I guess it doesn't really matter. We just need some black dye. So there's that. Not a problem. We're going to go ahead and drop that there in the middle. But I would like to go ahead and make one of these, just proof of concept that we can make it. And it's a very high instability. So if it works good, we're going to be happy. If it doesn't work good, then we're going to be really, really sad. Because things are going to get bad. But we'll see. The essential that we need is modus, ordo. We need 12 ordo, 8 modus. We've got plenty of modus. I'm going to need some more ordo, and then I'm also going to need some lux. This is kind of when everything kind of comes together and pays off, basically. Alright, so our Severance Reagent is crafting. Our packed ice, you can see each one of these has 5 ordo and 15 gellum. Which gellum, we don't have anything like pressing at the moment that we need gellum for. But we're going to be getting into a bit more blood magic before too long, by the way. A bit of automation type stuff, and also getting into wheel crystallization here soon. But anyways, let's put down our barrier stones. There, and there. And then we need the Severance Reagent and the Corrupted Glitch Heart. So I'm going to do the Severance Reagent setting there. And the Corrupted Glitch Heart opposite it there. And then that's everything. So we should be good. So let's go ahead and activate this. You can see right now we have a 0 to 1.6 loss per cycle. So that's all we're going to get from a, what was this? Very high instability. So at max, it would be a 1.6 loss. So right now it's so stable that even if it was to go unstable, it's not unstable enough that it could ever drop below very stable. I think dangerous can go up to a 2. So I still would like to push it a little bit further just because I don't think it's ever going to be an issue. But which if these 4 Vidium crystal brass sconces, if these aren't meant to be crafted because they can be used alongside other types of sconces for stabilization, then I don't know, I can change those to Vidium. I don't know if that's why it's that way or if it's because, I'm not really sure. But I want Vidium. I don't just want to decorate the base with AR sconces, so I want Vidium there. But if it's an issue, I can change those to Vidium or something. I don't know. Like if that's considered OP, that I've got some extra stabilization off those. I don't know. But even still, we can push it up to the same point, you know. Okay, so now that we've got a peace candle, what we can do, these things do, I believe it's a 3x3. 3 chunk radius. No, it's a 5x5. 3 chunk radius around it. Or is it a 5x5 or is it a 7x7? Okay, yeah, random things. I looked it up. It's a 7x7. that it does. So that's actually, for some reason I was thinking it was a 3x3. So that's even better. So if we open this up, I mean, if I put a peace candle down, say right here, I mean, I'm going to make a bunch of these. I'm probably going to make like 10 so I can just peace candle this whole area out and then peace candle out my farms too. But I'm thinking maybe, I'm actually thinking about putting the first peace candle here. In fact. So let me pop up, please be in this chunk. I think it is. Yes, it is. Okay, so this would be in this chunk here. And this would cover all the way to there. This is such a huge range. So I'm going to put that peace candle right there. And I'm actually going to mark it as peace candle. And that way I can refer to it. And then probably what I should do, I'm going to set this up. I'm going to do a new waypoint set. I'm going to say peace candles. I've been meaning to do this for ores. I just haven't. So let's go back up to default. And the peace candle, let's edit this. And we're going to set it to peace candles. So there we go. And then what I can do is I can switch over to say default, and then I can, I could switch profiles basically and hop between having my peace candles turned on or not. Basically, if I'm putting down more peace candles, I want to know where they're at. Or if I'm checking my peace candles, I want to know where they're at. So, but yeah, so that's going to be a 7x7 chunk of blocks where no mobs can spawn. And the reason we're doing this, of course, is because whenever we go into space, which we'll be working on here soon, whenever we go into space, the terrible beasts known as laser creeper robots from outer space or whatever, they start spawning, not just in space, but they start spawning in the overworld, and they will wreck your base. So you either need to get into peace candles or the Lucerna ritual. So Lucerna ritual is nice because it can do a larger range than the peace candles. I mean, it can, I want to say it gets massive, like hundreds and hundreds of blocks out, maybe 500 blocks or something. I mean, it's a massive area that Lucerna can do. But the peace candles kind of don't take, they're a lot cheaper now that we've got infusion, which we need to do that anyways. So now that we've got that, which really I could start removing some of these candles and actually having a nice dark area here. Because, I mean, I could go all the way out to here. So maybe I could just remove, for now I can just remove the ones up around my infusion altar. And actually have some darker space. And that way I can kind of figure out how I want to do the lighting up around this. But for example, I actually have shadows now. Which is awesome. And then I can remove this. And I can remove this. And this. And this. And this. Of course, I'm going to have some lighting in here. But there we go. Well, actually, this will be lit up because of the night ore down there. Which I've got to clean up these blocks and add, of course, more thaumatoriums down through here. But I think there'll be plenty of lighting without needing like lights hanging everywhere. And this actually emits quite a bit of light. And then we kind of have like our little dark shadow areas up around there, which I quite like. But yeah, so I'm gonna be making some more peace candles. I will say that now we've kind of got all the basic stuff out of the way with Thaumcraft. I mean, we've got to start moving into void metal in due time. And we are still going to be doing a bit more Thaumcraft, like some arcane infusion. We might get into some runic shielding a bit later. I do want to get into verdant charms before too long. I've got to do the research for that, and it takes 2 theories in arcane infusion. There's the Cheater's Thaumanomicon, which, if I recall, shortly after we go to space, I think we can start in towards this. Well, there's this, but I think most magic is open up after we go to the moon, I think. Vidium, block of black quartz. Wither ash and thaumium. It's actually pretty cheap. So we might turn our attention before too long to the Cheater's Thaumonomicon and just get all of our research unlocked. But at this point, the majority of Thaumcraft is... Well, I need to work on the lighting down here, of course. But the majority of Thaumcraft at this point is expansion. Because I need another Thaumium Essentia Smeltery over here. I need maybe 3 more flux condensers around this room with, you know, the flux condenser lattices. I need to get some kind of mechanical user that can activate this lattice. And then we'll have to automate making those filters a little bit later on. I want to make 4 more stabilizers and some more redstone inlay. Fill this up with jars so that we have all the different essentia types that can be stored down here for looks, basically. Add the additional thaumatoriums. I mean, you get the idea. It's basically just I need to expand on everything that we've done. And then everything else is pretty much just... I mean, we'll get into infusion boosting before too long because... I want to get infusion cost stones. So basically stuff's going to cost less essentia, but it's going to be a little bit slower to make. But I do like these cost stones, so we're going to get into these here pretty soon. We might even briefly cover them in the next episode, I don't know. But I know it's about wrapping up point for this episode, so I'm going to end this one out here. We also might get in ancient stone for our altar here soon, like change it over to ancient stone. So it makes it a little bit more unstable, but if I keep boosting the stability like I've been doing, then we'll probably change that over to ancient stone. So, but anyways, I do believe I'm going to end out this episode here. Next episode we might have some assorted Thaumcraft stuff that we do, but I will say the majority of the episode will be working on some new machines and starting to work towards moving into space, because that's our next big objective. I mean, there's a lot of small objectives that we'll be doing along the way as we prepare to go to space, but that's our next big objective. So Peace Candles was the first one, or the one that we just finished. So because that's kind of a big culmination, not of all of our magic, but a culmination of a lot of magic that we've been working on is getting those peace candles, of course. So, but anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. If you guys have any questions or anything, you know, do let me know down in the comments, and I will do my best to get those answered for you. I hope you guys enjoyed the episode, and if you did, as always, be sure and hit that like button, and go ahead and subscribe if you're not already, to stay updated with when new videos come out, and I hope to see you guys next time. So until then, as always, do take care, stay safe, and I'll see you guys then.